All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the first installment of the Yuncast. I am Buck, and I'm joined with my good friend
Zephyr.
And this is our first episode, so basically a little bit about us. We are two people, and we just want to start a podcast, and we're also going to be trying to produce music, which is pretty cool. But that's still underway. We're not quite sure how that's going to go.
Lyrics are very hard to write.
Very hard, as musicians would probably know. So, why did we start the podcast? I was bored, and I like podcasts.
I listen to them at work all the time.
Maybe you should speak up a little bit next time, but that's alright. He listens to them every day at work, which is fine.
I enjoy it. It's a good, I did it with, I detailed a car with my brother. And and I was playing a David Dobrik podcast, actually. And it was good. Every time I had to vacuum, I obviously paused it, but I actually kept my interest the whole time.
Yeah, our school, I had to do a project. It was a podcast about a self-driving car with the benefits and, the cons, the pros and cons. And it was very interesting and kept me very distracted. And also, my cousin, whose name shall not be named, he listens to the Unspeakable podcast, the Markiplier one. The Markiplier makes. Mm-hmm. Anywho, as the title probably suggests, because that's probably what we're going to put in it, we are here to talk about the wonderful adventures we've had at a place called Schoodic. It was quite interesting. Stupid, but quite interesting.
There was a plethora of fun things to do.
A plethora of fun things to do.
Not really.
Not really.
But you want me to start this? I'll start the story.
You can go right ahead.
Okay, so on this story, we rode a bus all the way to this place where we live. Not gonna name. But on the bus, we were listening to the music. Obviously, we were sitting next to each other.
Of course we were.
And
don't mention the song.
I'm not going to mention it. But when we got there, we had to go to our rooms first. And I don't know how they did this, but they got us confused with another room. Because we walked to our room, and they said it was number 1. We walked there was already a group of kids in there. And we were like, what the yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You can swear, I think.
What the fuck? I don't know. But we were like, what the fuck? Why people in our rooms? And then another group of people came over and was like, this is our room too.
It was so confusing.
And the room only had 4 bunks, and it was a group of 7 people, so it was confusing. But they ended up giving us the biggest room out of all the students,
which was the last room, ironically.
And there was me, you, and 2 other people in ours.
That's right. And one of them was yours.
He was kind of stepbrother.
Stepbrother.
But
right.
he was my dad's girlfriend. So.
Then there was somebody else whose name definitely shall not be named. But we had the biggest room, which we found fucking amazing. It was the biggest room, and we didn't even need all that space. It was 4 people for 3 bunks. No,
there was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 6 bunks. And
there were 6 beds, 3 bunk beds. The bunk bed, as in when I mean 1 bunk, I mean 2. But the first activity we did when we got there was, I think, some group activity outside. I think it was around lunchtime.
They had this huge water tower, rusty water tower. I wanted to climb so bad.
Well, you'd have died or got tetanus.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
It was really amazing because I remember that water tower. We had kind of like a recess. It was like kids playing basketball outside on a really rusty hoop, like a bad hoop. But after that, we went back into the rooms and we went to some nature walk, I think.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Schoodic another time, which we'll talk about later, and we actually had, instead of the bunk rooms for students, we actually were in one of the Schoodic student houses. It was really cool. I was there with one of my friends. He was pretty interesting at the time. He wanted to sleep with the lights on.
I hate sleeping with the lights on. One day when I was 11, that's when I stopped sleeping with the light on. I just turned it off. I had the best night of sleep I've ever had.
Oh, I bet. Oh, okay. But I think Schoodic, I've been there way too many times, and it was unnecessary. Like, this was my least favorite experience with Schoodic. On the release of Fallout 76, a pretty big game at the time, I had to go to Schoodic for a mandatory one-night stay.
That wasn't the time that we went, was there?
It was... You were graduate. No, you did go.
This was elementary school, by the way.
This was elementary school. And it was worse because it was also on Halloween. So the kids that wanted to go trick-or-treating couldn't. Which, that was just sick of the school to do. But, oh well, things happen. But I was just angry because I couldn't play Fallout 76 on the beta release. It was the beta release.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Which that was even more explosive, I guess you could say. It was really cool. Anyways, we should probably get back on track to the stay we're talking about.
Yeah, the time that we were there, both there. Well, so they ended up giving us the biggest room from the students, obviously the 3 bunk beds. And basically, there on one side of the room, there were 2 bunk beds, and the other one was on the end. It was just one on the other side. And me and my ex-stepbrother, we slept in the same bunk. He was on top, I was on bottom, and then you were on the other side.
Yeah, I got my own bunk, and the other person, he got his own bunk as well.
Yeah, but no one would bunk with him.
We're not going to talk about why. It was really interesting. The beds were like cardboard, but that's all right. I mean, it's better than sleeping on the floor. It kind of got hot in those rooms at night.
It was a funny experience.
It was really fucking funny. Like, the teacher had to come in like 10 times, no joke, to tell us to quiet down.
Because we were laughing our fucking asses off for no reason.
Like we were just, I would make a sound and we'd start laughing. It's like someone just gave us a bunch of hallucinogenic drugs.
I actually remember you. I look over and you're going, ooh.
I was making a very interesting face. I remember that.
It was funny.
That was hilarious. Holy shit.
And there was. I'm just gonna add this in. These people weren't in our bunk, but they were a couple of friends of mine, and I think they had their own room, and one of the guys had a watch, and he it didn't have numbers on it. It was like almost like designer watch, and it didn't have numbers, and he didn't really know how to read it right, and they wanted to wake up early. So that they could go take a shower before everyone else came in, and they woke up at 2 a.m, didn't realize it. They just thought it was still dark. Went and took showers, got back, and realized it was 2 a.m.
The funny thing is, we were probably awake while they did that.
Probably.
I think when we were up and was told to be quiet, I think that was the second night we were there.
Probably the first too.
Probably the first two, but the second night was the worst for us.
It was always. Was she our homeroom teacher? I can't remember.
The teacher
that kept walking in. I don't think she was. Pretty sure she was our math.
She was our math teacher. I think at this point it was a merged homeroom.
Yeah.
So yes, she was. That's because all the teachers were in that area.
And there was also this one specific thing I remember. They woke us. I can't remember if this was super early or really late. It was pitch black outside, and they had us just go walk outside. Like a huge group of people.
Oh yes. This was super late before we were heading back to the bunks, and it was like a trust kind of activity.
Yeah, they didn't want us using flashlights or anything. So
I think you fell.
I fell like 3 times. So we were just walking, and you couldn't see anything. Couldn't see the people in front of you. You couldn't see shit. And I remember specifically, I was walking, and then all of a sudden I ran into a tree. I was way off the path. And I found my way back, and then I ran into a chick in front of me and accidentally grabbed her tit.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's all good.
I don't remember that, but
And I remember
that's interesting.
tripping and eating shit on my face too.
That's
over a stump.
Literal shit?
No, like
okay.
slamming my face, like eating shit, falling.
Okay,
Yeah.
then Zephyr, whatever you say.
Yeah,
But-
okay, Buck.
Anyways, there was some really stupid stuff that we did there. One time, you know what? Maybe in this episode we should also bring in Camp Kiev, because Kiev was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
but that's
well, I mean,
after.
I went at a different time than you.
Oh, we probably did the same things, but anyways, after this. So, at Schoodic, we did this, like, I don't remember what it's called, but it was like, you know how at our old school they had this pig bucket?
Oh, I remember.
They did
I
something
remember.
there, and whoever had the least amount of food scraps would get a reward. This was the time. This was a time that you weren't with us, but
That
it
was
just,
Kiev.
no, it was both of them. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
This was a different time when it was just my class going and you didn't go,
I
and
can't remember.
literally, my friend was so eager to get our class the winning like bucket that he ate all the food that no one else ate. Our bucket was empty the whole week. He one time, this is not an exaggeration, 11 trays stacked up next to him because he ate the food off of them. He ate everything.
What?
I'll tell you who it is after. We can't
Yeah,
disclose their name.
names. I probably know them.
He is quite the eater. Holy shit. I'd never seen a man eat so much. Like,
Didn't they call it Ort? Or was that
Ort.
Kiev?
It was Ort. That is exactly what it is. It
Was that at Kiev, both Kiev and Schoodic?
both of them. That was at both of them. At the time where we both were there, though, they didn't have that, I don't think.
I'm trying to remember if there was this, I feel like it was Schoodic. It was Schoodic. But there was the food house. And it was way smaller than the one that was at Kiev.
The food
It was the
house.
place where you ate. Like, they had the
Oh,
tables and
like the
shit.
dining hall.
Yeah, it was a lot smaller at Schoodic than, because it was right next to the helipad.
They had.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember that now. They had really bad food there.
And there was a song I kept singing. I couldn't remember it till about a week ago. I'm not going to say the name. I don't know if it will, but I don't know if I can say the lyrics.
You might be able to. I think you can
It
go
was
ahead and do that.
I can see clearly now
The rain has fallen.
No, it
Oh,
has
God.
gone.
Oh, shit.
And I would sing that. Like, I just walk up to people and I sing it. Do you remember how long the lines were for?
They were
so-
long. They were unnecessarily long. I think they had like a shortage of staff members. I mean, I don't blame them. That place sucks.
Yeah, it's literally just a place for children.
Yeah, I mean, and when
For
like
schools
one of
and
the times I was there, I was with our science teacher and my class. This was the same time we had that Ort bucket thing, and basically we had like how do I say, apartment, and there was like 5 bedrooms. And me and the person who ate all that food, like the 11 trays, we shared a room, and then a bunch of girls elsewhere, and we had a bunch of house stuff. It was pretty fun, to be honest, except the sleeping at night with the light on. That was a pain in the ass. And then, hear me out. Just at the end, at the last night, when I was exhausted, sleep deprived because I couldn't sleep, he said, "Oh, I don't actually need the light on when I sleep."
Where was that when you went that one time?
With him, and the light was on. But yeah, basically, that's what he did.
I remember. What was I thinking? I bet my time at Kiev was a lot more hectic. There were some shit going on there. There was a lot of fights at mine.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But at Schoodic, there was the hike that we had to do. It was, I don't know. I don't think it was 8th grade who did it. No, I couldn't have been it. I think
we were in the same class when we did that. I remember that hike.
Well, it's in the yearbook. It was just our graduating class, I think. No, we had to have been 7th grade then. I just can't remember.
Well, either way, keep going.
But we went up there and we hiked the whole thing. It was a little rainy. They called it Schoodic Head. It's kind of this mountain thing, but.
Oh yeah, I did that too. That was fun. I like that.
And we hiked it, and then we took a picture at the end. And in the yearbook, you can look back. I have it at my house. I still have the yearbook.
I don't.
And you look back, and there's a picture of, I'm not going to name names, but 2 different students. And one had their arm wrapped around the other, and were grabbing I don't know if they were meaning to, but in the picture they were grabbing the other's tit.
Oh my god.
And I always thought that was so funny.
That's interesting. Yeah, the Schoodic hike I actually really enjoyed. I don't really like hiking, but that I did like a lot. I haven't hiked Blue Hill Mountain in a while.
I love hiking Blue Hill Mountain. It's pretty fun.
I mean, it's not really a mountain. I mean, it's called a mountain, but it's a hill. It's a hill.
It's almost a mountain. It's a few.
It's literally only a few feet
from being a mountain.
Like not even like 10 feet or 20 feet, like 3 feet.
I'm just gonna call it a mountain then.
Oh, I mean, that's what it's labeled as. But it was probably used to be a mountain, and then like when the glaciers went over it, probably like long ago. But I think this is a good point to switch it towards to talk about Camp Kiev, because Camp Kiev was so good. All right, we're back from a short break. We were gonna start talking about Camp Kiev, but we actually have one more thing to talk about that was at Schoodic. Would you like to explain it, Zephyr, or?
I'll take the first, and then you tell the story that
All right.
you remember because I was sleeping.
Go ahead.
So at this place, Schoodic, we were, I mean, pretty much every day. This one person, really annoying, mind you, would. I can't even describe what she would do. And just go with your story.
So, the story would definitely help his claim here. It was like 4 in the morning. Not really anyone was awake except for the teachers and a couple students. And this girl was standing in our room. And I was awake, but I didn't want to say anything because that's fucking weird. And then the teacher came in, got her out. And then later, when we were actually all waking up, she was just in there again. And this time we knew. And
I think she definitely had a crush on one of us.
it wasn't me.
There was no way she was just in there for the fun of it.
She doesn't like me, as one of my valid sources have told me. It could have been you. It could have been the other two. I don't know who. We made jokes that it was one of the guys on the bunk by himself.
You mean the only two were you and him?
Oh, not me though.
Not for the other.
Well, he was asleep. We made jokes about it. But okay. Well, that was all we needed to say about Schoodic. We're gonna wrap that up, and we're gonna head over to the wonderful Camp Kiev discussion.
Which we both have like two separate stories of it, but we'll like share similarities because we both went at two different times.
I think it would be a fair thing for us to share one story at a time, and we transition back and forth. I think you should start, seeing how I said the handle is your
We're just gonna go from the top, I guess, from when I got there. It was about a 2-hour long bus drive, and I pretty much slept the whole time. I just laid down on the seat, fell asleep. And we got there, and I'm pretty sure we went straight to cabins, just to like put our stuff away. And the beds, this is gonna be a shared similarity because the beds were made in a prison.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Yeah, they were prison beds and on like bunks. And so I shared a bunkhouse with a lot of people that I knew, and they weren't from the same schools. Like a lot of them were from different schools.
Same thing with me.
And I was in Orange Group. That was the name of ours. And no, Orange Group was the activity people.
You had a cabin name.
The cabin name was it was the one that was at the end. It was one right next to the where you like the landing to put boats into a lake. It was at the last cabin.
Was it the bunker cabin?
No, it was just a cabin.
Okay.
But I have a few stories from just the cabin, but I'll just go with one first. So as soon as I got there, I shared a cabin group with my cousin. You know which cousin I'm probably talking to.
I think so.
Yeah. And then there was he was a good friend of mine from 6th grade, but he always got me in trouble. I never got in trouble in school until I met him. And that was in 6th grade. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
And so basically, we were getting settled in, and I bought like a little thing of Axe that was not even 4 inches, and it was just a little soap bottle, and that's what I used. And my cousin, He grabs it and he goes, I'm going to flip it like a bottle. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. He flips it and he just breaks it all over the floor. I'm literally scooping it up with my hands and putting it in like a little Ziploc bag. Because that's all I had. So,
that sucks.
And that's the end of that story for now.
Okay, so that was your arriving story.
Yeah.
Let's say mine. Mine was kind of the same. We were on the bus going there. I was sadly sitting next to he who shan't be named.
Do I know them?
You probably do. Yes, you do. You definitely know them. I'll tell you. Friggin' hot tamales.
I didn't get to finish them. I'm hungry.
Okay, then.
It's my favorite candy.
Well, anyways.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. So we got there, and instead of going right to our bunks, we did like an activity, which was all just really stupid. It was like one of our school's like assembly activities. Can you put those down for 1 second?
Sorry. That's good.
We got there.
Bucky,
we did that.
no, I like hot
yeah,
tamales.
Quiet. So we did that activity. We went down to our cabins, got situated. Nothing fancy went down. So nothing special happened in our bunk moving in. That's all I have to say. What should we talk about next?
I have another one from my cabin.
Alrighty.
So I don't think this was the first day, but after, like, it's kind of like a shared thing. This is the same night. Like, I got mad at my cousin and that guy, so I ended up moving bunks to my ex-stepbrother, who was my stepbrother at the time. Yeah, he was. So I moved over there and slept with him, and not in the same bed. Bunks. Like, the bunk right next to him, because we both were on the top.
I assume so.
But I'm pretty sure this was the same night. And in the middle of the night, a few of the kids in the bunk, not the bunk, and the bunkhouse decided to wake up, or not wake up loud, and stay up. Sorry, dyslexia. Stay up and I don't know. And they wanted to creep on the counselor, like to scare him or something. And his room, there was like a gap in the top, like near the ceiling, and where his wall was, there was like this much of a gap. And they climbed up and looked through, and all they see is his fucking schlong.
Oh,
and him jerking off in the middle of the night.
Oh, God.
Another story that has to do with this. My dad lost his virginity there.
Okay, maybe
when he was a kid.
We probably shouldn't go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Let's go to a story in my camp.
It was at the camp council.
This was yeah, I assume as much. The only adult that would be in there.
18.
Oh my God! Can I?
13.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it was a different time then.
We gotta calm down with the jokes and get to the stories. So in mine, the same person who ate all that food and slept with the lights on, he was there in my bunk, and he put all of his stuff into the bunk above me, but he actually went and slept with another dude in the same bed.
Like, same, like bunk bed or
same
mattress?
Same mattress. They weren't doing anything.
They were so tight. Those mattresses were tiny.
They were tiny, but you know what? I think they were doing a little cuddling, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
They probably tried to, neglect that, but that's not the case. I think that's what was going on. And, our counselor, he'd keep reading a book about people who got caught poaching.
Poaching, like animals?
Like deer poaching in Maine. Well, it's your turn to say the story. Next story, bud.
Alright, well,
We can do out of cabin this time. We got a lot of fun stuff that happened there.
there was a lot of fun things at Kiev. And one of my top favorite things was the wall climbing, the rock climbing building.
That was fun. That wasn't my favorite, but that was fun.
And they had they had a thing called the Kiev wall. And that was I believe the black one. The one that
had
easiest.
Okay.
And there was the red wall with the big box at the top. That you climb into.
That one.
I did that one. It took me a while because it burned so bad.
I couldn't do it because my feet were too big. That's a true story. I had too big of feet.
Oh, well, I got up to it took me like 2 tries to get up there. The first time we had a belay team, which is if you didn't know, it's 5 people all strapped up, and they have like a rope that's strapped to you with harnesses so that they can catch you when you fall with just their body weight.
Yeah, I mean that's a safety thing. It's either that or you just fall and die.
But the first time I needed for that rock wall, there was no blade team because that rock wall was harder. They had an actual like trained professional there, like a trained employee. It was just one person blading you instead of a whole team for that wall. When I did it, at least. And when you get to the top, you have to jump off and punch this little punching bag.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I was terrified of heights. I was worried I was going to jump and die because that was like 200.
It was like 150 feet.
Yeah, off the ground. It was fucking high as shit and scared the...
Tall building. But it was like in the basement. So...
And they had that little obstacle course type thing. You don't need a blade team for that, but...
Obstacle course? I don't remember that.
It was like a rock wall, but it was hanging from the ceiling. It was like this little wooden sculpture you had to like climb around and climb up. It was confusing. You could do it with like 2 people.
I don't remember that. Oh, well.
I vaguely remember it.
I don't. Well, anyways, let me tell you about the fort building. Did you do the tree fort building?
Yes.
That was fun. I met this guy. I would say his name if I could remember. Actually, I wouldn't because that's the rules. But basically, we had the best fort on the area. Basically, we actually managed to make... It was like fall time. I'm assuming that's when you guys went.
Yeah.
So... Basically, on the outside air, it was like 50 degrees. We went inside of our thing we built, the little fort, and it was 70 degrees. We actually made like a warm fort. It was pretty cool. We actually made the best one there because like other ones were hunk-a-junk things you'd find in the wasteland. It was bad. And some kid tried to steal a piece of plywood we found that we were using, which very clearly wasn't his to begin with. Thankfully, we got away with that. Anyways.
Okay, I got a couple more. So, when I went, there were a few fights. Like, actual, like, genuine fist fights. I'm not kidding. Between 7th graders. Which is kind of odd because they're 7th graders. And the first one was between this guy I knew, like, my whole life. And then this other guy, I had no idea who the fuck he was. And they had, I don't know, they had been bickering. We're in a big crowd of people, and they were bickering the whole walk back. And then all of a sudden, a shoe goes flying in the air, lands right in front of me. I pick it up, and I'm just like, whose fucking shoe is this? And then I look over, and they're like on each other on the ground, and I see the shoe missing off my friend's foot. And I was like, oh here you go.
Oh, you just handed it to him while he was...
No, they got pulled away, and I handed it to him.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it ended. That fight ended. There was a couple other ones, but...
Now, there was a guy at when I was there that created a trend, a legend there.
What a shot.
You know
I know, that guy goes to our school.
I know he does. He's amazing. He's hilarious, too.
I love that guy.
He's amazing. But yeah, he did the what a shot thing.
He came up with his own like brand of, at one point, a brand of like...
yeah, he made shirts for it.
Yeah, shirts and stuff.
That was really cool. But basically... he got kicked out for being disruptive, which, I mean, screaming what a shot a bunch is disruptive. But literally, they had a talent show thing to wrap up the whole thing, and they throw t-shirts into the crowd, which was pretty cool. But to get the kids to settle down, the only thing they'd listen to is what a shot. So the teachers had to use the term what a shot as a term as like, when we say what a shot, then you guys need to be quiet. It worked, but it didn't work. Because
it was only when the guy said it.
Because whenever somebody screams "what a shot," you usually respond with "what a shot." Yeah. But after you got kicked out, we what was it? It was Rip so and so's name. So there was the food court. That was pretty cool.
That was my favorite place.
They had the. Would you like to talk about the
Ort?
The Ort bucket.
It was the same thing basically. Like,
yeah.
Whoever had, you would get. Wouldn't you get? No, I remember. You get your picture of your cabin group on the wall.
That's right.
That's what happened.
You get a picture of your cabin group on the wall, which isn't that big of a deal, but.
I mean, if you ever go back there, you can
see it. And
they have pictures from like the 70s.
Oh, yeah, that place is old. The food there was better than Schoodic, too. Like, a lot better. It was just, like, cereal and simple stuff, not fancy pants, vegetables.
I'm actually pretty sure there's a picture on the wall that has my dad in it.
That's pretty cool.
When he was a kid.
Oh. That's where he lost his virginity.
Yep.
Anyways, where where are we? The 30 mark. We just hit the 30 mark exactly. I think this is a good place to wrap it. What do you say?
For sure.
Oh, all right then, Zephyr. Whatever you say. Thank you for joining us for the first installment of the
Uncast.
The Uncast. Yes, sorry, I forgot our name for a second. So we'll try to upload regularly with more interesting topics. This was just an introduction. Usually the episodes would probably be like an hour long or 45 minutes. This is just the introduction, so it's going to be 30 minutes. Anyways, that should be it. See ya.